It's the time of year when outstanding young Nigerian graduates in the diaspora are celebrated for their academic feats at distinguished institutions of learning. Our special report focuses on education migration, its benefits to host countries, as well as some of the perks of having a foreign degree in a multicultural world. And meet pharmacy PhD student Somto Chike Obwekwe. She's the winner of the prestigious Martin Lawler Bursary Research Award at the University of Huddersfield in the UK. Welcome to the show. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Before we delve into the interesting lineup, let's take a quick look at the news of the week.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has disclosed that the nation's official currency, the Naira, can now stand as a payout option for remittances from the diaspora. The CBN gave the directive in a statement signed by its Director, Trade and Exchange Department. Additionally, the Apex Bank mandated that in ascertaining the rate for such Naira payout, the foreign exchange rate from the investors and exporters window be used. The change implies that in addition to the already available options of receiving money in dollars or e-Naira, beneficiaries of diaspora remittances will also now have the choice of receiving their funds in Naira. On June the 24th, another 125 Nigerian nationals, including 22 children, were evacuated from Sudan. Since the war began, over 2,500 stranded Nigerians have been evacuated from the country. According to the federal government, on May the 14th, 150 women claiming to be Nigerians had no passports to fly back, and that they are now exercising extreme caution to ensure that only Nigerian citizens are repatriated to the country. In late June, a 24-hour ceasefire was agreed in Sudan to celebrate Eid. However, it was soon violated when heavy gunfire and airstrikes were heard in northern Khartoum. Despite several efforts to bring peace to the nation, a resolution appears nowhere in sight. Nigerian sailor Seaman Rafiu Shabi was recently assigned to Strike Fighter Squadron 125 as part of the US Navy's largest master jet base. Shabi, who only joined the Navy 7 months ago, now serves as a logistics specialist. As part of his duties, the specialist training graduate is tasked with maintaining maritime dominance, strengthening partnerships, increasing competitive warfighting capabilities, and sustaining combat-ready forces in support of the national defence strategy. Shelby said that his upbringing taught him to respect everyone, and that this attitude has helped him while serving with the US Navy. A Nigerian student has graduated with a Doctor of Pharmacy from the Cyprus International University at the age of just 20. Promise Ayomide Adekola says that she finished her degree after leaving Nigeria at the age of 14. Her admission to the university was based on passing a mandatory 5 credits in the West African Examinations Test, which is a requirement for English-speaking West African nations in basic subjects such as English, maths and science. As well as her age, one of the challenges that she faced was having to learn a new language. However, she eventually found a support system which contributed to her success and personal growth. Juliana Olayinka with the Diaspora Network News Wrap in London.
In recent times, quite a number of young Nigerians have made it to the top of the honours list in global institutions of higher learning. So let's bring you some of the outstanding faces of academic excellence on the world stage.
What an honor and special moment this is.
22-year-old Nigerian-American Obioma Ugoji made headlines after emerging as best graduating student at the Loyola Marymount University, Los Angeles. While giving the valedictory speech at his graduation ceremony, the young achiever displayed a deep knowledge of his roots as well as a sense of respect for his culture.
So, when I say Igbo Kwenu, I would like you guys to respond back to me in quick affirmation, hey.
He began his speech by chanting the phrase Igbo Kwenu, which is customary in Igbo land. The excitement at the venue of the ceremony, which was packed full of an enthusiastic audience, was enormous, and the young valedictorian did not fail to engage them with the power of oratory.
Igbo Kwenu! Hey! Igbo Kwenu! Hey! Good job. Clap for yourself. It was good. Today, I stand before you proud of who I am and who we are. My name is Obiama Ugorji. As we have chased our dreams on this campus and worked hard, I just hope that as your family and friends are here today, you are filled with a deep joy that surpasses all kinds of understanding. A deep joy that is incorruptible by the woes that are commonplace with moving from the classroom into the workforce. I am here today to encourage a pause of the questions that ask, what's next?
Ifeoma Amuche also recently received a lot of attention for her academic feat. She graduated as best student at the Southwest University, China, out of over 9,500 students. Ifeoma was a former student at the Federal Polytechnic, Oko, in Anambra State, southeast Nigeria. At the graduation ceremony, she delivered a speech on behalf of international students and dedicated her success to Nigeria and her hometown, Oko. Dr. Aisha Suleiman is another outstanding young Nigerian graduate in the diaspora. Aisha, who's an indigene of Kwara State, emerged as best graduating student at the University of Bristol, United Kingdom, where she bagged a Master's of Science degree in Nutrition, Physical Activity and Public Health in 2022. In addition to graduating top of her class, she also received the Impact Award of 2021 in the School of Policy Studies for her outstanding research thesis, which was adopted by the World Health Organization for its non-communicable disease prevention strategy. Nigerian students are some of the highest achieving young persons in the world, and these outstanding faces of academic excellence continue to do the country proud globally.
In the last 5 years, relocation fever, popularly known as the Japa syndrome, has resulted in the movement of thousands of Nigerians, mostly through the student visa route, to countries like the UK, the US and Canada. Now, here's what we found about the practice and its benefits to host and donor countries.
The movement of persons from one geographical location to another dates back to a long time in the history of human existence. This movement, which is either on temporary or permanent basis, is influenced by both internal and external factors, like better living conditions, healthcare, and improved education opportunities. This drive has seen many Nigerian students seek admission in top institutions of learning across all continents. In recent times, countries like Germany, Canada, the United States and the UK have become home to thousands of foreign and international students, including Nigerians. In response to the global demand in 2021, the UK relaxed its immigration rules, opening new routes to allow more foreign students and workers to ease labour shortages caused by the coronavirus pandemic and Brexit. The country invited people from all over the world through applications to work, live and study, with no cap placed on the number of their dependents. During this time, the number of Nigerian students in the UK more than doubled in the 2021-22 academic year compared to the previous years. According to the Higher Education Statistics Agency, Nigeria is ranked third after China and India among the top countries with its students taking up academic programs in the UK. Over in North America, Canada recorded over 8,000 more Nigerian study permit holders in 2022 than in 2021. Still, the international students market has become an important source of revenue for host nations and institutions. These contributions have encouraged major players to implement further initiatives to facilitate the arrival and integration of overseas students, including substantial amendments to immigration and visa policies. Apart from financial gains, host countries also benefit from qualified skilled migrants who make considerable contributions wherever they go. But the gains have in some cases been seen as drain and pressure on the economy of the host country. In the UK, for instance, the Home Secretary caused a stir when she made public her office's intentions to cut immigration numbers, potentially affecting a pathway for many Nigerians seeking a new life in another country on student visas. Conversely, Canada introduced a new policy for professionals and students, allowing them to bring their dependents with them as part of the country's plans to welcome more immigrants. Regardless of the changing policies, Nigerians remain undeterred in their quest for improved education, as they believe studying abroad presents numerous benefits like building international networks, creative thinking, and developing global social skills. And in the course of their academic pursuit, a staggering number of them bear the mark of success wherever they go.
We zeroed in on an inspirational pharmacist who's received the 2023 Martin Lawler Research Bursary Award for her research on community pharmacies and their contribution to preventing suicide.
This bright young scholar, Somto Chike Obwekwe, hails from Anambra State, southeast Nigeria. She was born in Ogidi town in Idemili North local government area and grew up in Awka, the state capital, where she attended St. Paul's Nursery and Primary School. She completed her secondary education at Providence High School in neighboring Enugu State, where she was awarded a number of sports and principal awards for academic excellence. Somto completed her first degree at the Igbinedion University, Okada, in 2016. In 2017, she worked as an intern pharmacist at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital, where she was awarded Most Hardworking, Outstanding and Dedicated Intern. She went ahead to practice in a few private organizations after her NYSC before relocating to the United Kingdom to further her studies. Somto bagged a master's degree in pharmacy from the University of Huddersfield, England, with an outstanding performance and was awarded the Vice Chancellor's Scholarship to pursue her PhD. In May this year, she gained global recognition with her research focused on the contribution of community pharmacy to suicide prevention in low and middle-income countries, particularly Nigeria, and won the prestigious Martin Lawler Research Bursary Award. In addition to the recognition, she will be attending the 32nd World Congress by the International Association for Suicide Prevention in Piran, Slovenia in September this year, and she looks forward to presenting her findings to delegates at the conference. Her choice of topic was motivated by her passion to raise awareness on suicide and prompt the training of pharmacists to become knowledgeable about suicide signs and its risk factors. The young licensed pharmacist with over 5 years of practice aspires to work with policymakers globally to improve suicide prevention strategies and support the inclusion of suicide prevention training in the pharmacy curriculum in institutions of higher learning. Outside of work, Somto enjoys reading African literature, writing poems, and spending time with family.
Coming up on Diaspora Network, our chat with Somto Chike Obwekwe. Welcome back to Diaspora Network. Now let's hear more from Somto, the first researcher to consider the role of community pharmacy teams in suicide prevention in Nigeria at Huddersfield University. And congratulations on receiving this Research Bursary Award. How does it feel to earn such a prestigious recognition?
It's really exciting and surprising at the same time, looking at there were a lot of participants, a lot of applicants that applied. So I'm really, really grateful and honored to receive the Martin Lawler Award this year.
What did you do differently? And obviously, there are a number of applicants. Everybody's rooting for this kind of position. How did you get it?
So it's just a direct application. But according to those who examined or those who looked into the application, they said that because my research was focused solely on low middle income country, actually focusing on Nigeria, where suicide is still criminalized, and I'm the first to look into the community pharmacy aspect on suicide prevention, and it happening to be in a low middle income country as well. So that's what just stood out to them.
Let's talk a bit more about your research, its potential contribution to community pharmacists in suicide prevention in Nigeria. That's quite a mouthful, I know, but the whole idea is trying to ensure that people are prevented from committing suicide, for instance,
Yeah.
and seeing how the pharmacists can help do that. What inspired that kind of topic?
So when I was practicing as a community pharmacist in Nigeria, I did encounter like those with suicide ideation, but a particular patient stood out to me. I was practicing in Lagos State, to be precise. So that was during my NYSC. So a patient came to get some medications. So she asked for a whole pack of paracetamol, which contains about 1,000 tablets. That was really surprising. And when she asked for that, she asked for activated charcoal. And for my pharmacy background and my knowledge, I know activated charcoal is like an anti-poisoning residue. It's like an antidote for poisons. So that stood out to me. And back then, a lot of things are coming up on social media on those who committed on suicide, people jumping off the bridge. So I was really curious. I started asking her questions, what she was doing. And she was a young girl. She might be in her late 20s. So I was trying to ask her questions just for whatever. I don't know where the knowledge came from actually, but I was just trying to ask her what she was doing. Does she have any job? Does she have any families? But at the time she was trying to open up to me, my boss stopped me and she said that there's no time to be doing this. You need to attend to other people. And how sure she's going to get these tablets that you're asking her about? Because, community pharmacies are focused on targets. We need to make money. And I don't actually blame people because it's an independent business. It's your own personal business. So people playing with your money is no joke. That was just what motivated me into looking into suicide and mental health. And I went for my master's and the opportunity came up for my PhD and I carried on.
Interesting. Now, take us back to growing up and, how that links to your career as a pharmacist.
Okay. So growing up, I've always had this zeal to take care of people. There's this thing my mom usually calls me like, Obatobwe. It means when you're around, I'm at rest. So I've always had that ego. I wanted to do medicine, but I found medicine in Nigeria really triggering. I'm not really comfortable with blood or surgery. So I wanted a different aspect of healthcare profession that I can actually come close to patients, sit down and interact with them. So I looked into the pharmacy profession. And then that was when I started looking into Dora Kunyeli's role in preventing of fake drugs, the circulation of fake drugs. So that was really motivating to me. I'm like, oh, this is a woman doing this. Why can't I do that?
So your first degree is in pharmacy from Igbenedion University in Nigeria.
Yes.
And then obviously you moved over to the UK where you are. Would you say that experience prepared you for what you're doing right now? The foundation that was laid?
During my internship, I think the people I met along the way really, really motivated me and really prepared me for where I was heading to. So I did my industrial training, IT in 300 level in Enugu State. I worked in the National Orthopedic Hospital. And it's not like I'm saying, but there were a lot of women there. And they were really hard at work. They're trying to create changes. Some people were trying to prevent fake drugs. So that was really motivating to me. So I was looking into actually working with stroke patients. But I now went for my internship in University of Benin Teaching Hospital. I noticed that the mental health aspect of pharmacy is actually lacking. So during that time, if I am actually counseling patients on their medication, I take out the time to know how they take their medication. Do they have any support or they have any motivation in carrying out their daily activities, especially those on antipsychotic medication. And also there was an incident that we had during my internship when some patients will come for PrEP, that is, prophylaxis for HIV. There was nobody to counsel them. So they only come to the community, to the pharmacy in the hospital. So one of my chief pharmacists, she took her at the time. She was not actually on duty, but I didn't know what to do. So I called her and she took out the time from her home to come. She sat me down with the patient and I saw the way she counseled the patient on her mental health. she needs any help, any support, that the pharmacists are here, she could just come and, plans and care plans to be created for her. So that was really motivating.
What would you like to see replicated back home? Because obviously the whole point of Diaspora Network is to leverage on the experience that you have now. I know you're still in the course of your studies, but from what you've seen so far, what do you think can be replicated back home?
The government's interest. The government they really put in the work. In this country, there is interest on how the patients are handled, on how the patients are, motivated to come into the healthcare system. The government actually invests. Is really, to me, because even working then back in the hospital, and I worked during COVID, you could see like there were provision for everything, for all the patients, even those who are at home. And now, like into the mental health aspect and suicide prevention as a whole, the government is actually putting funding on creating research and creating reimbursement for community pharmacists. Though the community pharmacy here is funded, they are linked, they are bridged with the national, the NHS trust. So they have reimbursement for the role that they do. They get training. Suicide prevention or mental health is actually being incorporated into the curriculum. So they are government and they are working hand in hand with the healthcare professionals to do that. But none of that is done in Nigeria.
So let me ask you this. When compared with other healthcare professionals, doctors, surgeons, for instance, many say that perhaps pharmacists are not appreciated because you only encounter them when you need a prescription filled or perhaps advice on medication. Do you think that's true? And do you think that the critical role pharmacists play is not seen across the board?
Well, here it is seen, but back home it's not. Because we're just, sometimes back home I'm called a nurse, so I have to explain I'm not actually a nurse. There's more we could do. And here there's more investment. The pharmacists are actually appreciated here more than they're appreciated in Nigeria.
Okay, let me ask you a funny question. If you were medication yourself, which one would you be and why?
If I was a medication, well, in Nigeria, I'll be an anti-malaria medication.
Okay. And elsewhere?
Well, here, I think I'll be a paracetamol.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because it's easy to get, and everyone needs it. People constantly have paracetamol in their home for.
Okay. And I mean, that was on the lighter note. What do you think is the most challenging thing being a student in the diaspora? You've won this prestigious award, and obviously you're unique at what you do, where you are. What's the most challenging thing about being Somto today?
So, when you're in this position, you feel like you have to do more, or like the challenging thing is that I don't actually feel that I'm in the right place where I am. I don't know how to put that. You feel there are more people that are much better than you at what you do. But it's that thing I find challenging. It's a battle that you have to do every day to find that you actually deserve to be where you are. So we call it imposter syndrome in the healthcare field.
Okay. On a final note, what would you say to other Nigerian youths, especially those in the health sector, who continue to look outward? What would you say to them?
To keep trying, to keep working hard. Like, we actually need healthcare professionals. Whatever knowledge you have, try to expand it. Don't allow anything the government says or the lack of funds or whatever stop you from doing what you are doing. Just keep dreaming big and just read more. Reading helped me a lot.
And what's next for you? I mean, when you finish this now, what's your plan?
To fight the policy change on suicide prevention.
Back home or?
Back home.
Okay, fantastic.
That is my change.
All right, Somto Chike Obwekwe, thank you so much for joining us on Diaspora Network. Congratulations again, and we're going to look out for you as
Thank you
move
so
ahead.
much. Thank you for having me. I'm really grateful.
And there you have it. As education continues to be a major factor for international migration at university level, donor and host countries can only hope to maximize the gains and the benefits of such decisions. And that's the show. You can catch all episodes of Diaspora Network on our YouTube channel. And of course, there's a lot more on our website. I'm Ijeoma Onyato. See you next time.